Hello, and welcome to Michell Consulting's webinar series for Michell University. Today we're going to be working with Infor FACTS, and we're going to talk about a module called the Relationship Management. For purpose of the demo today, we're going to be using FACTS 7.7 for our demo, and we're going to be going over a brief overview of relationship management. This webinar is being recorded. It will be available on our website, so you can visit us at www.michellgroup.com to view this, plus other in our webinar series. So there's a module in FACTS called the Relationship Management. If you see here, we can go in, and the Relationship Management allows us to create like an additional CRM for the system. It allows us to create multiple contacts not only for our customers and our vendors, but contacts for leads. These are potential customers that we don't have to actually set up in FACTS. We can look at it this way. We can view our notes, and our note queries allows us to look at different information we've written about the contact, and emails and notes we sent to the contacts. We have our to-dos. We can create to-dos. This allows us to create and follow up when we're dealing with our contacts. We can create work centers. Again, we can separate into different work centers who's going to be working on this stuff. We have notes. Again, just information that we can add, notes we've taken. We can actually do broadcast lists, so we can broadcast out information, emails, letters, and so on. We can also establish a process flow. And by the way, we'll get into all these in detail as we go through a little bit, but we can create a process flow. This is basically how our business is structured. So in this case, we can go in and we can say, and again, we'll see different process flows of how we're going to actually do the build, actually work with our customers and our leads. We can do contact imports. Here we can import lists of contacts. This is from other than the FACTS software. So we can set that up. And then we have our reports and inquiries and our file maintenance. Let's look a little bit about the file maintenance here in the setup. Again, you can see our contact file maintenance, which again, we can set this up here, and we can determine our different contacts. You can see here that we can create contacts actually belonging to our primary information about the contact here. We can actually have some secondary contact information. And if this is related to a customer, you can see that this is a current customer that's in FACTS right now, and this is also if we had a current vendor. And we can create some user-defined fields. So again, this allows us to create information about the contact, all the pertinent information we may need. We can look at some support files. We can look at user preference, email templates. So we can go here, for example, and just close that here. And again, we can see here how we're logged in. Again, we're logged in here is IN4, and how we have our preferences. So for example, for my login, you can see how we have the contact name set up, title first and last, the user code types, and again, we have a lot of information how we want to display what our defaults are going to be. So for example, in my case, my defaults, time zone, my default note type, to do, and so on. So this can be all set up for every time we create a contact. We can see if we want to do notifications and so on. So it gives us a lot of information on the setup, our templates that we want to use for emails, letters, and so on. Again, that's part of the setup, and we work with the customer closely on the setup. This is very important in order to get the maximum out of the product itself. I have to make sure the setups are correct. You can see the email and letter template file maintenance, and then we have some infrequent file maintenance. And again, we'll cover these in other webinars in more detail. But again, this would be the setup, and we will work with you, on the setup of all the information. The different types of, for example, the to-dos, type file maintenances, you can see here. Again, we can see that we have a callback, and we can set up a default. So it's going to say callback and actually pull up the full name of the contact. We have some for schedule appointments, send catalog, and so on. So again, we can create all that information here within the background. And again, we can set all the system controls, and just like we have in the standard facts, we have our static control file maintenance. Again, you can see here how we have it set up. We would set up for, again, our email, our servers, and all the information for our securities. And again, just like we would see in our standard facts and any of our other modules, we have all the setups here. So let's talk about some of the other setups we kind of do. One of the nice things to do is the process flow, and we can see how that works. The process flow entry, you can see we have the process, and for every process we have a stage, and for every stage we have a step. So we can define this. So for example, if we go to our process here, and we can see here how we have our information. Let's actually take a look at it from another area so you can see how this works with a contact. So let's go into contacts. Let's say here, and let's take a contact here. Let's see, we'll go with the one we had, Cowboy World. And you can see here where we have the different types. So for example, we can have this ongoing, and if we look at the tree process, we can see that when it's ongoing, there's really not much set up. There's no stage and there's no step. But if we switch this to, let's say, new business, what happens is now by default in new business, if we look at the tree, we get this. So within new business, we have some stages and we have steps. So for new business, we would have a stage called suspect. So here we would kind of, do a suspect maybe in our target marketing, and then under that we can have a step, which is the intro. So again, we can actually put where we are in the process so somebody else can come in and see it. Again, we can have a secondary one, the prospect. This shows he's shown interest. So underneath that we would have the first meeting. So again, if we select this, and we would say under new biz, we would have our stage. So if we select this stage right here, prospect, you can see then under prospect, you can see the step would be first meeting. Okay, if we choose the stage to be qualified, then we would pick, in this case, the step now is prices quoted. So what we're getting at is that process flow or that tree configuration depending on where we are. So you can see here at the end, this one here for the close, we have two options. So if we go here and we look at the stage for close, we have two steps. So if we set this stage to close, you can see here that, again, we can pick the two steps. And again, we can set that up. So the minute we go from new biz to a, say, this one here, new sale to customer, again, you can see how the tree will change. So this one we have the new sale. Again, we have the no contact. We have the initial stage, and we have three steps here. It's intro, first, and so on. So this allows us to actually see where we are within the process flow, and again, it allows us to control, again, how we talk to the clients and how we handle these contacts. And that's in the process flow here. So we can set that up. We have our to-dos. Again, a to-do is just a series of information that we can track. Again, we can share this with other people. You can see here under the shows, you can show my to-dos, the assigned to-dos, okay, and for a specific contact. So if, again, to go to my to-dos and I tab, I can go ahead and add what I want to do. If I go to, say, assign to-dos, and I go to, say, open, again, I would get some information here. If I go to for a contact, and let's take this first one here, And again, you can see here that these are open, so we have information for this contact. We can look at what's been completed. Again, these have all been completed. We can look at today's, so we have nothing for today, and we can look at past and priority. So if we go here and we look at open per se, we can select one, and like we have in our standard facts, again, we can add a line, we can delete, we can edit a line. So we're looking at information here. Again, this is for the person here. Again, the type, it's a callback. You can have the contact. We can set priorities. Okay, we can do reminders. We can have a little note here. So the to-dos are nice. To-dos allow us to go in and just set up. And again, when a to-do is complete, we can complete it. We can refresh the screen at any given time. So we can see that information here. We have work centers. Again, we can create work centers. Like, for example, we have the opportunity management. Again, that we can set up in here. And again, we'll go into these in more detail in other sessions. We just want to show you how we can set up. So we're looking at the salesperson here. So under Ronald, you can see he has these right here. And if we look at Cowboy World, we have two things. We have a chemical order, and we have a new warehouse location. So under the chemical order, again, we can do, what we're doing is we're drilling in, and there's where those initial stages are. So you can see where we are in this, again, any given time, we can see, we can look down here for information. So again, really nice set up that way. We can see it that way. We can, again, look at our notes. We just want to create a note for a contact. So let's go back to our customer here, and you can see all the notes that were going back and forth to Miss Julie Johnson. And again, FACTS will also do, as orders are generated based on these, will actually allow you, it'll actually give you updates on the notes of what these orders are created. So you can see here that this order was created, and you can see the actual order that was created. Again, from here you can go into the to-dos, you can go to the doc maintenance, again, and look at all the information here. So now I'm back into the standard facts. And that's really the heart of relationship management. It is the what they call the 360, or the area, the kind of area where you do only your CRM, your customer relationship management. You don't have to move within standard facts. Like, I don't have to be in purchase order and then go into sales order to look at a sales order. I have everything kind of at my fingertips here. So again, it's just easy for me to look at all the information right here. You can see that also as with the contacts. Again, when we open a contact, let's do a filter, and let's find on that customer again. I just need the customer right there. We don't need the vendor. And again, if I open it up, you can see here. And again, as we discussed, this is kind of the heart of the relationship management CRM. You can see here from this one screen, I can go, basically anywhere I need to go in relation to my job. You can see here I have the contact information in front of me, so I can easily update contact information. And again, I have all my options right here, right, and my go-tos. Again, so I can go to the notes. If I'm talking to this person, I can do a quick to-do. I can actually create a to-do, a simple click. Again, I'm in my to-do, and when I'm done, I'm back to where I was. If I want to do a quote entry, I can, again, easily click. I'm in the standard quote, as you see here for facts. So again, very simple to work with, very easy to go through. And that's kind of the R360. It relates and other modules too. Again, you have some reports. You can look at the pipeline report. Again, where we are, we can look at the win-loss report and the quote status report. So we have this information to look at it. We have inquiries. Again, we can just do inquiries here. Okay, contact inquiry. Again, similar to what we have in the standard facts and so on. We can look at the broadcast lists. Okay, and we can actually create a list. And we can also do the contact import. And again, you can import a contact from a standard data map or from an Excel spreadsheet, so we can import those. Remember, when we do have contacts, one of the advantages of relationship management is the contact doesn't necessarily have to be linked right now to a specific customer or vendor. Let's just clear out the filter here. So you can see here the types that are customers and so on. And then you can see here, these are, we click on, let's say, this one here. This is a prospect. You can see that we have all the information related to this person. Okay, but if you look under the customer detail, we do not have any customer information nor vendor information, because this right now is set up, and you can see the types. This is set up as a prospect. So it's not a customer yet, we're just trying to win their business. And again, this has to do with the file maintenance, and we have webinars that will go more into detail on each one of the modules in RM, like the contacts in more detail, the setups like this in more detail. But again, you can see, so I can come in here and I can see again in one screen, I can see everything. I have the person's name. I can see that this is a prospect. I can see the lead source it came from, an employee referral, the time zone he's in. I can actually even see where we are with the new sales. We're in the initial stage, and we're at our first meeting. So we have all the information here. We have the salespeople that are involved. This belongs to Ronald. He's the only one working on this deal. We can look at the mail codes. Okay, and we can, we have mail codes for, say, decision makers, catalogs, and newsletters. But again, everything here. And again, right now you can see if I needed to send an email or do a quick fax, okay, I have everything set up here that I can do. If I'm integrated with a phone system, I can actually dial the numbers here. I can even copy the contact. And then my go-tos, again, I can do everything here. And if I wanted to create the customer, let's say we get to the point that this person actually is going to be a customer now. We got the deal, we've already sent him the quote, and we're ready to do business with him. Again, I can easily just create him as a customer. So what we're seeing, again, everything in one screen, what we call our CRM 360. Again, everything right here at your fingertips. Again, very easy to work with. So we have that, and then we have our queries and our file maintenance. So that was kind of today was just a little bit of an overview of relationship management to recap what we talked about. The relationship management is a module within the standard facts. It just allows us to do more things. As we know from our standard facts, if we went into, say, our vendor file maintenance or our customer file maintenance, remember here we had a simple contact here. We only had our two, just contacts and email, not really much information. But you can see here how the RM contacts are integrated. So if we were to go into the RM contacts, again, we would see that these two that are related to the vendor. So we have that information, and it holds true for the customer as well. So we have that information. And the modules built into FACTS, you can see that it's part of the FACTS menu. And you can see it, it is incorporated and is part of FACTS, so it's something we can create. And it has everything in information. Again, to recap, we have contacts. These can be contacts for customers, vendors, also contacts for leads. These are not customers or not vendors, what we call prospects. We can do a contact import. So if we get a lead sheet or some information from an Excel, we can actually bring that in and actually create the contacts. We can look at our note queries, so we can query and search the notes. We can see we have some notes here that we can just add. We can do to-dos, which is nice. We can create to-dos. We can create to-dos for ourselves or assign to somebody so we can see what we need to do, and we can update those to-dos. We can create work centers. Again, very nice way to control the work centers, the opportunities, the quotes, and who's really responsible for the information. We can generate broadcast lists. So let's say we want to do a mailer or a catalog. We can, do a broadcast on that. Maybe we have contacts, potential contacts, a list. We want to do a broadcast on some of the the features we have or catalogs we have. We can determine our process flow. Again, this is nice. This is we can create multiple process flows, and these process flows have stages and steps. So again, as we saw, we can develop that and see where we are. So we can have a process flow where maybe for a new customer, we have the initial meeting, and once we get past that, we have all these different stages and steps. We have our standard reports. We have in FACTS, you can see the reports work like any other reports in FACTS. You can go into here, and again, you can control your properties. So you can set your printer. I'm going to see when to print the file. And again, we can just go here and we can run a report. So again, we're looking at our pipeline here. And again, very simple. We can see our process, our stage, the opportunity name, and all our percentages of close. We have our inquiries, which allow us to look through, and of course, our file maintenance. So that's today's webinar, which is kind of an overview of relationship management, of how it works, how it integrates with the rest of FACTS, how it gives me my CRM 360. We were going to have more webinars. We're going to go into detail. We do have we're going to have webinars on. We have them on contacts, and we'll go into more detail in file maintenance setups and workflows and so on. So once again, this concludes our webinar today. This is going to be available on our website, so you can visit us at www.michellgroup.com to view this plus our other in our series for Michell University. And once again, we thank you for your time.